A sudden lightning flash cuts across the New York skyline. The city is drowned in pouring rain. Sirens wail in the distance, echoing through the maze of skyscrapers. In the darkness, a red and blue figure swings across the storm, his movements frantic, almost desperate. His mask drips with water, his body silhouetted against the glowing billboards of Times Square. The screen blacks out for a moment, only for a single white spider emblem to flicker into view. Pulsing like a heartbeat, rain lashes down on the streets of Manhattan. Neon signs flicker, casting broken reflections on the wet asphalt. Cars honk in gridlock while police vehicles cut through with flashing red and blue lights. Crowds scatter as a figure in a trench coat slams into the pavement, chased by masked gunmen. The camera follows their boots splashing through puddles, the chaos of the chase amplified by the storm overhead. A web shoots from the shadows. The trenchcoat figure is yanked backward, safely out of the line of fire. The camera tilts upward, revealing Spider-Man perched upside down under a fire escape. His suit is new, sleeker, more armored, glowing web lines tracing along his arms. He drops down, landing in front of the gunmen. For a split second, the rain pauses mid-air, frozen in a flash of light. Before everything snaps back to motion, the gunmen panic and open fire. Bullets ricochet off dumpsters and brick walls as Spider-Man flips backward, twisting through the air with impossible agility. He webs one thug's weapon, yanks it from his hands, and slings it into another attacker. Sparks fly as a bullet shatters a nearby car window. The crowd screams and scatters further into the night. Close up, Spider-Man's mask lenses narrow, glowing faintly. He leaps forward, fists flying, landing blow after blow in a fluid storm of acrobatics. A thug crashes into a vending machine, cans exploding out across the street. Another is slammed against a wall, webs sticking him in place. The fight is fast, chaotic, and brutal. Suddenly, the camera shifts to street level, showing a massive shadow falling across the pavement. The gunmen freeze, eyes widening in terror before abandoning the fight completely and running into the rain. Spider-Man looks up, breathing hard. The camera pushes in on his face as his lenses widen in shock from the darkness of the alley. A massive figure steps forward. A towering man in a black suit, his presence alone commanding fear. The rain seems to part around him as he calmly adjusts his tie. The glow of the neon light finally reveals his face, Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin. He doesn't move quickly, he doesn't need to. His stare is unshaken, cold, absolute. The air grows heavier as the storm rages on behind him. Spider-Man's posture shifts, the relaxed, cocky movements of earlier now replaced by tension, every muscle coiled. The screen holds the moment, the new hero standing against a familiar but far deadlier threat. The camera cuts wide. Kingpin, unmoving, unbothered by the rain, and Spider-Man, dripping, fists clenched. Framed by the neon chaos of New York, a single taxi speeds through the background, horn blaring, its lights streaking across the scene. For a beat, the world feels silent. Waiting for the clash to begin, the section closes on Spider-Man tightening his web shooters, a low, metallic click echoing in the rain. The shot freezes mid-motion, then cuts to black asterisk, the blackout fades in. With a close-up shot of a cracked bathroom mirror, Peter Parker's reflection is fractured, split into jagged pieces of glass, each shard showing a different angle of his masked face. The light flickers above, buzzing weakly, as if the electricity itself is unstable. He slowly pulls off his mask, steam rising from his soaked suit. His face looks pale, his eyes red-rimmed with exhaustion. He grips the sink tightly, knuckles white, water dripping from his hair. The shot lingers on his hand as it shakes slightly, not from fear, but from the weight pressing on him. He looks up at the reflection again, the boy inside the man, carrying scars too heavy for someone his age. Suddenly the scene cuts. Flash images, blinding, quick, unrelenting, a funeral photograph of Aunt May, flowers drenched in rain. And Jay's face turning away in sorrow, walking into the crowd. Uncle Ben's words written on a folded piece of paper tucked inside Peter's jacket. The Daily Bugle headline screaming, "Spider Menace returns, city in danger." The camera snaps back to Peter's eyes in the mirror, now wide and burning with something stronger than grief. Cut 2. A wide aerial of New York. The rainstorm has passed. But the city isn't calm. Helicopters circle, smoke rises from a burning building downtown. Alarms wail, mixing with the hum of traffic. A voice echoes faintly in Peter's mind, distorted and ghostly. Dr. Strange's voice, not seen, only hinted. Tampering with reality has consequences, Parker. The streets below are chaos. Protesters clash with police in front of city hall, some holding signs calling for Spider-Man's arrest, others defending him. A brick flies through a window. Tension crackles in the air. The camera cuts to Peter perched high on a building, mask back on, watching from above. His figure is a shadow against the golden morning light breaking through the clouds. He crouches low, but there's hesitation in his body language. He wants to leap, to swing down, but something holds him. His lens narrows as he sees the people below not as strangers, but as enemies who fear him. Suddenly, a loud crash echoes across the street. The crowd scatters as a massive armored truck plows through barricades. Out of it step hired mercenaries in black gear, faces hidden behind skull masks. They unleash chaos, firing non-lethal rounds into the crowd, tearing down banners, setting off smoke grenades. People scream and run in every direction. Spider-Man launches from the rooftop. The camera follows him in a sweeping aerial, swinging down with raw speed, dodging between smoke trails and collapsing scaffolding. He lands hard on top of the truck, knees bending, the impact shaking the steel beneath him. Sparks rain down as his webbing locks the wheels, sending the truck into a spin before crashing sideways into a lamppost. The mercenaries respond instantly. Smoke swallows the street. Gunfire flashes in bursts of orange. Spider-Man moves through it like a blur, weaving, flipping, disarming them one by one, his webs snapping like lightning through the haze. Every motion is instinct, precise and deadly, but in the middle of the fight something unusual happens. A ripple of blue energy cracks through the smoke, distorting the air. It's subtle at first, then grows, warping the street signs, pulling fragments of glass and debris toward it like a magnet. The mercenaries back away in fear. Even Spider-Man halts for a second, lenses widening from the distortion. A shape forms. A hand emerges, covered in glowing circuitry lines, followed by the faint silhouette of someone stepping out from the ripple. The figure is blurred, not yet visible, only a shadow of what's coming. The air vibrates unnaturally, as if another world is forcing its way into this one. The camera cuts to Peter's eyes through the mask, reflecting the glowing anomaly. His body stiffens. This isn't just another fight. It's something bigger, something that shouldn't exist. The scene slams shut with an overhead shot of the city block, smoke still rising. The ripple of blue energy pulsing violently at its center. Crowds screaming in confusion, mercenaries scattered, and Spider-Man frozen mid-step, caught between saving his city and facing an unknown power that threatens to rewrite everything he knows. Black screen. The sound of his web shooter clicking echoes in the darkness. The black screen cracks open with a sudden thunderclap. The blue energy ripple still pulses in the air, vibrating against the shattered glass and bent street signs. The smoke clears slowly, swirling like a curtain being pulled away. The camera lowers, shifting through the haze, and stops on a pair of polished black shoes, stepping firmly onto the wet pavement. The man who steps forward is colossal, broad-shouldered, his silhouette dwarfing the wreckage around him. His stride is calm, almost unnervingly slow, as though the chaos means nothing. A white cuff glimmers beneath his black suit sleeve as he adjusts it with surgical precision. Then the light catches his face, a heavy jaw, bald head gleaming under the rain, eyes like cold steel. Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin, the mercenaries who moments ago were firing scatter instinctively, lowering their weapons as if in submission. The crowd, still recovering from the panic, falls into an eerie silence. Spider-Man's mask lenses narrow, tracking Fisk carefully, his body tense and unmoving. The camera pushes into Fisk's expression. There's no rage, no urgency, only control. His gaze drifts upward, directly locking onto Spider-Man. For a long moment, the screen holds the image. the two staring at each other across the burning street. One cloaked in order, the other in chaos. Suddenly, a distant explosion rattles. The city blocks away. Fisk doesn't flinch. Instead, he tilts his head slightly, signaling. From the side alleys emerge new figures. A man with mechanical gauntlets crackling with electricity, shocker, sparks leaping between his fists. A hulking brute with segmented armor crawling up his back, claws scraping concrete, scorpion, tail arched high like a predator. A shadowy hunter, leather straps across his chest, carrying a spear tipped with blood-red steel, Kraven the Hunter, eyes glowing with primal hunger. They step into view one by one, flanking Fisk like pieces of a chessboard moved into place. The camera swings in a wide arc, circling Spider-Man as he turns slowly, realizing he's surrounded. Each villain steps closer, their presence shifting the air, their silhouettes exaggerated by the glow of burning streetlights and flashing police sirens. The fight doesn't begin immediately. Instead, tension stretches the silence. Kraven drags his spear across the pavement, the screech echoing like nails on steel. Shocker flexes his gauntlets, crackling sparks lighting up the smoke. Scorpion lashes his tail, smashing a hydrant, water spraying wildly across the asphalt. Spider-Man finally moves. He tightens his stance, his web shooters primed. The camera dives close to his mask, the faint sound of his rapid breathing beneath. The storm dot, and then, without warning, Shocker lunges first. The screen erupts in chaos. Yellow lightning explodes outward as Spider-Man flips high into the air, narrowly dodging. He shoots webs in rapid fire, yanking scaffolding down on top of Shocker, sparks blasting through the rubble. Scorpion roars, tail slicing through the debris, forcing Spider-Man to duck and weave between strikes that smash craters into the street. The crowd screams again, scattering from the battleground. The camera whips around as Kraven charges, spear spinning in wide arcs, every strike narrowly missing by inches. Spider-Man kicks off a lamppost, vaulting over him, webbing Kraven's weapon mid-swing. But Kraven's strength rips the web apart like thread. Eyes burning with animalistic fury, the battle rages, Spider-Man against three foes at once. Every acrobatic twist met with a new assault. Sparks rain from Shocker's gauntlets, scorpions. Tail smashes through cars, Kraven's spear cuts the air like a predator's fang. The camera doesn't linger. It moves like Spider-Man himself, fast, dizzying, never giving the audience time to breathe. And through it all, Fisk does not move. He stands in the center of the chaos, rain dripping off his black suit, hands clasped behind his back. His eyes track Spider-Man's every motion, calculating, studying. Finally, after a brutal exchange, Spider-Man is slammed hard against a wall by Scorpion's tail. Dust and brick explode outward. He crashes to the ground, groaning, mask cracked at the edge. The villains pause for a moment, waiting for Fisk's command. The camera cuts to Fisk's face, unmoving, then down to his hand as he slowly clenches. His fist, that single gesture is enough. The three villains step back in unison, retreating into the smoke. Fisk takes one step forward, his massive figure filling the frame, casting a shadow over the broken Spider-Man. The screen holds tight on his towering silhouette, the weight of his presence overwhelming the scene, then cut to black. Silence, except for the faint sound of Spider-Man's strained breathing. The darkness fades into light. The storm clouds dissolve, replaced by the soft glow of dawn breaking over New York City. The skyline glimmers, skyscrapers reflecting the first rays of sun. For a moment, the city feels alive, breathing again. The sounds of construction, traffic, and chatter weave together, not chaos, but the hum of life carrying on. Cut to Peter Parker in his civilian clothes walking down a crowded street, his mask hidden in a backpack slung over one shoulder, his hair slightly damp from the earlier rain. His expression is tired, but in the daylight, he almost blends in with the crowd. The camera pans low as he weaves through people holding coffee, laughing, heading to work or school. A normal morning in a city that has no idea of the war fought in the shadows hours before. Peter pauses at a crosswalk. He glances up at a giant billboard showing his face, or rather Spider-Man's, with the bold headline from the Bugle, Spider-Menace or Savior? The screen flickers between images, him battling Shocker, him swinging past the chaos, framed as either hero or criminal. People around him whisper, pointing, their words indistinguishable but filled with doubt. He lowers his gaze, tightening his grip on the backpack strap, and steps forward. Cut to inside a coffee shop. Warm lighting, quiet chatter, steam rising from cups. Peter sits by the window, sketching quietly in a notebook. The drawings are half-finished designs for web upgrades, but between them are doodles of faces. May, Uncle Ben. His pen pauses over the page. As if he doesn't know what he's creating anymore, the bell above the door rings. A young woman enters, not MJ, not Gwen, but someone new, fresh-faced, carrying books under her arm. She orders, then glances around before noticing Peter at the window. Their eyes meet briefly. A flicker of something unfamiliar crosses Peter's face. Not joy, not love, but the faintest spark of possibility. The moment lingers just long enough to hint at a new chapter. The camera cuts to an overhead shot of Peter walking out of the shop, coffee in hand. The world outside is vibrant now. Children running past with balloons, vendors opening stalls, musicians setting up on the sidewalk. It's a stark contrast to the violence of the night before. Peter stops in the middle of the street, looking up as sunlight spills across the buildings. For a moment, the weight seems to lift. Then the shot shifts. High above, Spider-Man swings again, this time in daylight. His movements are freer, more confident, his webs catching the sun like strands of silver. The music swells as the camera follows him in wide, sweeping arcs, diving between skyscrapers, soaring over bridges, looping past the Statue of Liberty in the distance. The tone is lighter, hopeful, a hero embracing the city instead of hiding from it. Cut to Spider-Man perched on top of a high-rise during sunset, his suit glowing against the orange sky. Below him, New Yorkers cheer, some pointing their phones, others simply looking up in awe. Children wave, mimicking his web shooting. Pose, for the first time, Spider-Man isn't just feared, he's admired. The camera tilts up to his mask, the lenses narrowing slightly, as if acknowledging the shift within himself, but the moment doesn't last. A deep tremor shakes the rooftop beneath him. The camera zooms out to show a sudden burst of blue light. Erupting in the distance, another ripple, larger this time, cracking the sky above Times Square. Billboards glitch, flickering with distorted images of Spider-Man fighting enemies not from this world. The crowd below screams in confusion. Spider-Man leaps instantly, swinging toward the disturbance. The camera follows close from behind, racing across rooftops, the sunlight now mixing with streaks of unnatural energy. As he approaches Times Square, the ripple expands violently, tearing through reality itself. Shattered fragments of buildings distort in midair, bending and reforming in impossible shapes. The final sequence of the section, a bus levitating midair before crashing down. Street signs twisting into spirals. People fleeing as the ripple drags debris toward its core. Spider-Man swinging directly into the heart of it. Framed by collapsing neon screens, he lands on a tilted billboard, the energy swirling violently. Before him, his mask reflects the distortion, multiple versions of himself flickering in the glass. He steadies his stance, ready for what comes next. The screen cuts to black just as the ripple cracks wide open.